the one that I really like from General Patton is, a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed too late. Now, I didn't quote him exactly, but if you commit fully to a plan that you've concocted and give everything to it is much better than having thought out every scenario, every little detail, and then, oh, hey, this would have been a great plan had we done this 2 days ago. Well, no, it's too late. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Just, hey, figure out what the details you have on hand, the knowledge you have, and go and execute to the best of your ability and fully dedicate yourself to it. Otherwise, you get stuck in analysis paralysis and you're never going to get to that perfect plan.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of the Builders Bible Podcast. I am so excited for this episode. I'm here with AJ Harris. AJ is the owner of REI Construction and is currently working on another acquisition for another construction company. So, AJ, thanks so much for joining the show.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Well, cool. I'm excited to jump into some of the details around REI construction. So maybe just start with this. How did you first get involved into the construction world? And how did you kind of get to where you're at now?
Yeah, so I went to the Air Force Academy and um, I had a major there that decided to convince me that I didn't want to be a pilot, that I wanted to go and build things.
Okay.
And it was so much cooler than flying. Still debatable or not, but I do love construction.
hmm
So I went and for almost 8 years, I did civil engineering for the Air Force. I built stuff in Afghanistan, Belize, Alaska,
No
Korea.
way.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, and then a plethora of bases in the States as well. I was part of a special construction unit called Red Horse, which is, if you know anything about the Navy, Seabees, it's the Air Force equivalent. We pretty much take our airmen. The officer, like me, would do the design, and then we go out into the field and we build whatever it is that was designed. So fire stations, runway repairs, F-35, parking aprons, drilled wells, schools and hospitals, barracks, etc. Yeah. So that's what got me into it, and I just loved it. So I got my professional engineering license, PMP, project management professional. Just tried soaking up everything I
Okay.
could while I was still in, and then I jumped into building hospitals after I left the Air Force. Um, so from building hospitals, I wanted to another challenge. I went and built a $166 million nuclear laboratory for the Idaho National Laboratory, and um,
Wow.
I still wanted a little bit more of a challenge, so I started to build townhomes and do some site work on the side with REI Construction. That was my baby that we started. And the reason we started that company was my wife sells investment properties. And back in 2019, properties around here were way too expensive that were 30 years old to buy. And she's like, well, why don't you just go and build some new ones and you can do it for cheaper? And I said, well, yeah, that's possible. This is how much it would cost. He said, okay, I got investors, go do it. I'm like, oh, all right, this is happening. That's kind of
No
how it
way.
happened. Yeah,
Wow.
every good idea I've ever had or has come to fruition has originated with my wife. She is a real visionary type person. So yeah.
Okay. That's so cool. So is your wife still doing some real estate stuff?
She does. She only does work with investors really. She homeowners, a lot of real estate agents can go and help you with that, but she just does
Right.
pretty much. It's a real niche to go and buy a fourplex or a duplex, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally. I see. Are you still
So
there?
yeah.
Looks like you froze a little bit. Okay.
Oh, I'm still here.
Okay.
Are you still
Sorry, we
there?
had a little bit of a connection issue. If we're talking over each other at all, I don't know. It might be delayed or something. Um, awesome. Okay. So, what, maybe give our audience just a sense of kind of the size of REI construction now. Like, how many employees do y'all have? How many projects you typically doing, I guess, over the course of a year?
Yeah. So the thing, what we had probably about 3 employees, four if you count our part time, at our height. And the biggest thing that we were doing was just like building townhomes. We had about 22 going on at once. It was about 6 million or so in construction value, um, in 22 and 23.
Okay.
Well, no, 20, no, sorry, 23, 24. 22 is kind of when we kicked it off and we did a small couple of projects there. Um, but 23, 24 is really the height there. This past year, because of interest rates and everything and whatnot, we have property we've held off on building. Um, so I've managed it. I've had a couple of superintendents help me out, labor as necessary, and then we would do some accounting or bookkeeping on the side. And one of the things that we really realized with that is, dude, that was a lot of hats, and you start stacking 10-gallon hats on top of each other. They really look stupid. So,
Hmm.
which is why we've just my wife came up with the idea of going to acquire a larger company that's got some systems already set up and has the size necessary to do the projects that we want to do.
Right.
Um, Having done hospitals, $120 million in Afghanistan, the nuclear laboratory I was talking about, those are the size of projects I like to be on. But the construction company we started won't win bids for the project size that we want based on only doing 4 or 5 million across 2 years like that. So
Hmm.
she said, "Go. Why don't you think about buying a company that's got a lot more of that history behind it, and then you can go ahead and um, place those bids and win them and everything." So that's what we did. We went out and found a company, and we're about to close on that.
Wow. Okay. That's so cool. What about obviously we kind of talked off air a little bit about some of the AI stuff. How have y'all been utilizing AI? Do you feel like there are ways you could be utilizing it more? Maybe yes, maybe no. Would be curious to hear about that from your industry specifically.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are developing that you could really take a lot of time out of what the estimators are doing.
Hmm.
Um, and that was some things I was playing around with by myself that, computers are way too complicated for a concrete guy like me. But um, I think that being able to integrate that, you could really save a lot of time that your estimators are doing and make it a lot more efficient.
Hmm.
I was using it to write some contracts or draft contracts. I wouldn't rely entirely on what it's done, but I would put in, hey, here's the specification. Write me a draft contract based on this other contract that I've already written, but for this other scope of work.
Right.
And so it goes in and it meshed the two well enough that I just had to read through it. And if I had like a project engineer draft it, and then so it saved me the cost of having to hire a project engineer to draft this up. Um, so it was quite useful. I need to give it a better template to go with, but I got to say it's as useful as the templates that you give it and the inputs that you
Hmm.
provide it.
Totally.
So
Yeah. Yeah. We've been helping out a couple construction guys now on that side with some of the AI stuff, and it's fascinating to see how useful it can be. Is there anything that comes to mind specifically that you think about I like to ask this question. If you could wave a magic wand in your day to day and AI could solve something for you, or I guess reduce the time it takes to do something, is there anything specifically that comes to mind?
I mean, I think this is a lot for everybody, but just answering emails. I mean, holy crap! Just sometimes reading through that and finding, the stuff that's actually the minutia that you spend 10 minutes reading. Okay, what is the point of everything that you just told me here? Oh, and then this is all you needed. Great. If I could get a summary of that, that would be one great thing. That's more for me personally.
Hmm.
I think that for our company, that would save us the most amount of money would be helping with estimating and, like I said, contract writing. So if we need to create an agent that could do the estimating portion, and then just needs um, a live estimator to go and back check it, that can fill that project engineer or junior estimator role. And same thing with um, the project engineer writing those contracts. So having agents that can do that more quickly, because then you're not having a, a PE sitting on staff at $60,000-$70,000 a year. You're making it a lot more efficient with your time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I do just want to pause just to get some clarification. Is it 3:30 your time?
It's 2:30 now,
Okay, cool.
2:33
I know
ish.
you mentioned 3:30, and I was like, wait a minute, is it already 3:30 for him? Do we need to be done? Okay,
No,
I just wanted to respect your time.
no, appreciate it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's interesting because I think there's a lot of things. It seems like in the construction world where AI can probably help, but sometimes some of these bids are a little bit nuanced, and there's some changing pieces. But if you can have an SOP or some sort of inputs that it can continue to follow, it seems like it could be huge. So, yeah, I'm sure Andrew would have a lot of thoughts on that, but that's interesting. We
Yeah,
actually
I
didn't
think
talk about the. Or go ahead.
I think you always have to have a bid walk with a live person, go there, see, hey, they didn't mention this transformer is right in the middle of the project, and you're gonna have to work around that. AI,
Hmm.
a virtual, or someone that didn't do a walk down of the project, isn't going to catch that eccentricity there or that nuance.
Yeah.
So you're never going to be able to replace them fully. But if you can get them to learn, or the AI to learn, what your general conditions are, for that you typically apply to every project, what's your profit margin, um, and how to compare the different bids and just output it right into a spreadsheet. So I don't even have to look at the individual bids and input it. If I can get my subcontractors to put it together, or the AI to put my subcontractors' bids together, would be so much time saved for us.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
How long does that, just out of curiosity, and I'm sure it's different for each project, but how long does one of those bids typically take just with like the manpower you have right now?
Well, at REI Construction, that took um, probably about. I mean, these, like, again, these were not huge projects. These were like houses and townhomes and stuff like
Hmm.
that. It was um, probably about 50 to 60 hours between talking to all of the subs, the stuff that they didn't put together, me aggregating all the information, um, and then comparing it, and then negotiating with the subs and everything. What
Hmm.
I think could be eliminated is a lot of that quantity takeoff and validation of the subs pricing,
Hmm.
um, and then that data entry. And I think you're down to about what was about 50 to 60 hours. You're down to 10 to 20.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like if AI could step in and at least do, some of the work or some of the things that could maybe be automated, that would at least cut a lot of y'all's time down significantly. Um, Yeah, that's really interesting to think about.
Yeah,
Um, I was going to mention, I didn't tell you this beforehand, so please forgive me. But Ruck, you're a Rise of Kings guy, is that right?
correct.
Okay. Would love to, if you don't mind, just sharing kind of how you heard about Ruck. We always love to celebrate them whenever we get a Ruck guy on. I know they use a lot of our clips. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on Ruck, just kind of how did you hear about Ruck? What's your experience been with them?
Yeah, so I got into it because of someone, well, mentor, someone I really respect personally as well as in business. It's Greg Harr um, up in Alaska, um, my wife's uncle, and yeah, he introduced us to it. We've gone to a couple other events with him, like Dave Ramsey and some other things. And he said, "Look, this is one that's most well-rounded that I've seen." Um, and it's yeah, there's been some really good aspects that we've been able to take from it.
That's awesome. Yeah, we love. I'm gonna try to make it out beginning of this year to my first one. Andrew's been pushing me like crazy, but yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. Um, cool. Well, let's maybe just going back to some of the construction stuff a little bit. Is there anything right now? You know, obviously y'all are trying to kind of start this other company or acquire it. What are some of the challenges that you're currently facing now, and what are some things that are going well?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're having is that they had three owners in this company that did pretty much all the project management and estimating together.
Hmm.
And to me, and I think to them as well, they realized that that just causes burnout. Um,
Hmm.
and at times, you're so in the thick of managing a project, you don't want to go on this other bid walk down and at the auspice of starting another project while this one's
Yeah.
ongoing. So you lose out on that work, and maybe you've got a slow period for a couple months because that project you're on is winding down when you could have been doing this one that's coming up. So what we're trying to do at the most efficient way possible is to get some estimators and estimating tools like AI set up so we can get um, that done more efficiently and have our project managers focus solely on uh, the field work and
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
contract negotiations and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It seems like yeah, if AI and I guess some sort of a combination with virtual assistants can help someone be freed up to actually focus their time doing things, number one, that they love, but then number two, that actually, in turn is more profitable for everyone in the business. That would be ideal. Because I think a lot of times people think, well, AI is just going to take everyone's jobs. And maybe it will eventually, but I think for now, especially in the construction world, it seems like it could be more so just a tool to make everything more optimized and efficient. Um,
Yeah.
do you agree with that?
Um, oh, absolutely. There's a guy, another mentor, Chris Moore, not part of Rucka, part of a different group, but he is huge into technology, and his whole thing is AI enhanced. Um, and he's got shirts even printed that his people are wearing AI enhanced. I'm not relying solely on AI, but I'm enhanced by it. Um, you know, I don't just go and look up whatever AI tells me and I take it as scripture. I use that to improve my knowledge and I question it and I get it to the answer or to improve my thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't do the thinking for me. So that's the thing
Hmm.
is that I think that's a key differentiation between um, what people believe AI can do is take over the world and do all our thinking for us, as opposed to the people that are really going to excel with it, using it to enhance or advance your own thinking. So you come up with the idea, okay, help me iterate on this, help me figure out some of the risks about it, and have it um, come up with some of those ideas faster than you would have.
Hmm.
And then you review it and say, okay, well, hold on, let's dive into this further instead of, hey, tell me what my business plan is. No, here's the general things, write this for me, and then I'll go and tweak it.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Does he have your mentor, your friend there? Does he have a company, or is that just kind of a saying that he likes to live by?
Yeah, he has a company.
I wonder what his company's called. Is
He
it
is
just
he's
AI
part of.
enhanced?
No, that's not what the company's called. Um, he is part of um, a um, business acquisition group called Dealmaker Wealth Society, but he also has his own company. Um, yeah,
Oh, I'm looking at it.
which
Cool. That's so cool.
yeah, he actually was a keynote speaker in Vegas this past week. I think it's actually
Chris Moore,
it's
there he is. I'm looking at him right now. Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's so cool. I'll have to look into that some more. So
yeah
he's
he's
a friend of yours, it sounds like.
yeah he's a great mentor and everything. Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. Cool. We can wrap up here. I want to definitely want to respect your time. One of the other questions I typically like to ask a lot of guys like yourself. So just to give you more context, I'm 29, so starting to creep up in my 30s. But for someone in their 20s, maybe that's thinking about college, maybe he's thinking about the trades, with kind of the way the world sits now, I don't know if you have any boys, but what would be kind of your advice or recommendation to someone who's maybe lacking some vision with what they want to do? Do you feel like college is still a good route, or would you encourage someone to look more into the trades? I know that's a big question. It's loaded.
Yeah, it really is. Um, some of the most successful people I know these days didn't go to college. Well, and you can look at all the billionaires, and a lot of them didn't complete college.
Yeah.
But a lot of them learned an actual trade, and if they had the intelligence, um, they started their own companies with it and became owners of large plumbing companies, electrical companies. Welding is really one that's fabrication companies right now that are getting huge and
Yeah.
really necessary in manufacturing here in the United States. Bringing some of that back is going to be pretty big. And if you can couple um, your knowledge or your expertise with your hands, be it one of those MEP type businesses, with a knowledge set in AI, in um, technology, you're going to be able to advance yourself and that company that you have a lot further than someone that just went to college to learn how to work for someone else, which
Yep.
um, I can't speak to everybody's experience in college because mine was very unique going to the Air Force Academy. Um, but it trained us to be an officer that worked for the country. A lot of universities are supposed to just pop out middle management.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty big shift from the Air Force into just doing your own thing in the construction world. But I mean, I totally get it. I can see how, yeah, college in a lot of ways has a lot of added benefits, specifically from like a social standpoint. I feel like you meet a lot of really good friends and things like that. But also, I don't know, with the way that technology and AI are kind of advancing, it seems like the blue collar work will be the last to go, if ever. I don't know if they'll have to design a robot, I guess, that can figure out how to build something. But I'm
Fix a
not sure we'll
leaky
ever see the
faucet.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be the thing is how do you get in? Yeah, get someone to come in and fix a leaky faucet for a homeowner. That I don't know.
I know. I hope I'm never alive to see that day. I don't want
It would be
robots coming in
interesting.
my house.
Well, I don't know if you ever watched Wally, but the riding around on those not motorized but
Yes.
floating
Mm-hmm. Everyone's
wheelchairs pretty
fat
much,
and
and yeah, no, I don't want
there's
to
a
get to that
screen in
point.
front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. Cool. Well, maybe last question here, and then we can maybe chat for a few minutes after, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah.
What would you just say? Maybe final piece of advice slash, is there a quote, Bible verse, a rule you live by, anything that you're interested in, just something you want to share with the audience that's near and dear to you?
Oh, yeah. I just did that the other day. There's a couple. Um, yeah, I just had an interview for one of the projects we completed, and they asked me about that. Man, I wish I would have had that one at my fingertips.
Yeah,
There's
you should
there's
be
one that,
prepped.
yeah, I had to write it down. I didn't bring it with me. The one that I really like from General Patton is, a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed too late. Now, I didn't quote him exactly, but
Mm-hmm.
if you commit fully to a plan that you've concocted and give everything to it is much better than having thought out every scenario, every little detail, and then, oh, hey, well, this would have been a great plan had we done this 2 days ago. Well, no, it's too late. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Just, hey, figure out what the details you have on hand, the knowledge you have, and go and execute to the best of your ability and fully dedicate yourself to it. Otherwise, you get stuck in analysis paralysis and you're never going to get to that perfect plan. The other thing I think that really has shaped a lot of what I've done in life is being willing to, and I wrestled in college. I wasn't a great wrestler, but I dedicated all my time to making my teammates better and everything. And it really
Did
shaped
you
a lot of my work ethic.
did you wrestle at Air Force?
I did. I wrestled at the Air Force Academy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
no
wasn't that.
joke.
Yeah, I wasn't that great. I tore my meniscus and broke an ankle before my junior and senior years. So
Jeez.
I, by the time I got fully healed, um, it was, yeah, it didn't really help me too much in those seasons. So I was, yeah, really held me back a little bit. But I think the thing that I really learned from wrestling and from that experience at the Air Force Academy and trying to just find myself was perseverance and always knowing that no matter how bad you think things are, no matter how bad or bleak the situation is, if you realize that you have more in the tank, there's always something left in reserve. And if you're willing to dip into that and give it, you're going to find that even though there's no light at the end, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you can break down the damn wall and you'll find daylight eventually if you just keep running your head through that one and the next one until you find daylight. And that's what I've been able to experience. You'll don't give up until you find the solution. That's what I've kind of experienced in my life.
Yeah, that's so good, man. We need more mindsets like that in today's day and age. That's for sure. I love it.
It helps. It helps push through.
Yeah. Well, AJ, thanks so much for coming on, man. I hope this was fun for you. Like I said, maybe we'll chat for just a few minutes when we end this here. But hope this was fun for you, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Absolutely, man. Anytime.